Hello, my name is Eugene. I'm a funeral celebrant, and I'm also the founder of Create My Legacy. At some time in our lives, we will all experience the pain and heartbreak of losing a loved one. Create My Legacy is here to help take the pain away from them by letting you plan your funeral service ahead of time. We break the taboo subject of dying by talking about it. We regularly put information on our website, on the blog, on videos on our YouTube channel. We try to explain how to go about it, what to do. We also have interviews with experts that cover all aspects of dying. And today we're going to be introducing you to one of these videos. So to begin, I'm going to share my screen with you. Okay, so here we are. This is this week's informational video, and this week we're going to be talking about sorting out the estate when there is no will. Sometimes this can be a major problem. We put here, is it a big problem? Well, some people see sorting out an estate, when there isn't a will, as a major problem. It is a problem. It will take longer if there isn't a will, but it can be done. It really can be done. It isn't as difficult and as scary as many people think. It really, really isn't. Today we're going to tell you what to do and how to go about it. This is possibly a slightly longer video than normally, but there is an awful lot of information. Who should sort the estate out? A person who dies without a will is known as dying intestate. This makes sorting out their estate more complicated. If there is a relative or a friend who is willing to sort out the estate, then they can apply for a grant of letters, or also known as a grant of probate. This grant makes them the administrator of the estate, and it allows them to value the estate, pay off debts, and distribute the estate when everything has been sorted out. Sorting out an estate without a will, it does take time. It does take time. And if there are no surviving relatives, the person's estate passes to the Crown. And Her Majesty, her Treasury, her HM Treasury, they then have responsibility for dealing with the estate. Okay, there are solicitors and there are probate specialists, and you can use them. So sorting out an estate where there is no will, it can be tricky. I promise you it can be tricky, especially if it's not clear what assets the deceased had, or there are complicated family relationships which make distributing the estate difficult. So you could have second marriages, even third marriages, and stepchildren getting involved. In these types of situation, it's sensible to consider using someone who specializes in probate. Using a probate specialist, it also makes the process easier, a bit quicker, and less complicated. So consider that if it is a difficult situation. If you decide to use a probate specialist, you should budget for several £1,000s. The bigger the estate, the more complicated the estate, but more costlier it will be to have it sorted out. Preparing for grant of probate. The first step in applying for probate involves hunting for paperwork. You need to find certain documents and make copies of this. These documents are needed as you go through the process of getting probate, as you'll see in a minute. So you've got to find and make copies of important documents. You'll need to get at least 6 certified copies of the following documents: death certificate, birth certificate, marriage or civil partnership certificate if the person was married. Now, preparing for the grant of probate, you'll need to attach these copies to the various documents, to probate forms, and to access the deceased bank accounts, investments, or life insurances. So you've decided that you're going to sort the estate out yourself. You're going to take this job on of administrating the estate. You can still pay solicitors for their time. Chances are you might need this. It will save you a lot of your time. There are things like checking over the probate application form and working out how to distribute the estate. The process of sorting out an estate without a will is almost the same as sorting it out with a will. There is information and help dealing with the estate without a will, and if you go to gov.uk, there is so much information there. It's actually a really good website. So we're now going to value the estate. Before you can apply for probate, you need to value the estate. When you fill in the probate forms, you'll need to put down how much the estate is worth. To value the estate, you will need to find out the value of any assets, property, pensions, savings, shares, jewellery, or valuable collectibles. Find out the value of any gifts that the person gave away within the last 7 years before they died. And you'll also need to include these in the value of the estate. Find out how much debt they have, if any mortgage, credit cards, loans. You should include funeral costs as part of the debt if the estate is paying for the funeral. And work out how much the estate is worth once you have sorted it all out, taking the debts away. So, valuing jointly owned assets. Joint bank accounts are nearly always held as joint tenants. So, while ownership of the account usually automatically passes to the joint account holder, you do need to value it as part of the deceased estate. To value the deceased shares of a joint bank account, you'll need to find out what the balance is in the account and divide that by the number of account holders. And there could be more than two, there could be 3 or 4 people. It is quite a simple and straightforward thing to do. HMRC, they usually scrutinise joint accounts held by unmarried couples or other combinations such as a parent and a child, and they do tend to look at that more closely. I'm just pointing that out to you. This is because normal exemptions from inheritance tax may not apply, and that the surviving joint holders, actually, they could be liable for tax at the end of the day. So jointly owned assets, how do we value those? Known as tenants in common. Each owner can own a different share of the assets. That's the first thing. The assets don't automatically go to the other owner if one of them dies. The deceased can pass on their ownership in their will to other people. And you have to value the deceased share and include it when working out the inheritance tax. Not sure how to assess jointly owned. If the deceased owned other assets, such as shares, you'll need to contact the company. You'll need to find out how it was owned, work out how much the deceased shares of the assets was. So it isn't difficult, but there is a lot of digging around that you need to do. Then, of course, you come to inheritance tax and working that out. Once you've got the value of the estate and how much debt the deceased had, you then work out what inheritance tax is due. So, for example, if the total value of the estate after the debts were taken out is £325,000, then there is inheritance tax to pay. You do need to get up to date because these figures, what we're talking about, are 2020. So again, go to gov.uk and there's guidance on how to work out and how to pay inheritance tax. This tax is due, and this is important, this tax is due within 6 months from when the person died. Interest is charged if not paid within the 6 months. Really important. So to help avoid paying interest, consider paying some or all of the inheritance tax before you finish valuing the estate. Applying for grant of probate. So you've now got the estate, it's valued. You now need to fill out, there's a few forms, and send them to the nearest probate registry office. You'll also need to pay an application fee. How much you need to pay and what forms you need to fill in will depend on whether you live in England, Scotland, Wales, or Northern Ireland. Now, over the next few slides, I won't be talking about them. I'll just leave them for you to read. But once you've received your application, the probate office will contact you to arrange for you to swear an oath. You can do this in the local probate office or in the office of a commissioner of oaths. You don't normally need to apply for probate if the estate was either jointly owned and so passes to the surviving husband, wife, or civil partner, or doesn't include land, property, or shares. So if you live in England and Wales, I'm just going to let you read this. I'm not going to read it all. So that's England and Wales. If we now have a look in Scotland, again, I'll let you read it for yourself. And Northern Ireland. Okay, so paying off the debts and taxes. Once you have probate, you've now got that, you can then contact the organisations that are holding the deceased assets, such as the banks, private pension providers. They'll ask for a copy of the probate and confirmation letter before they will release the assets. You can then pay the debts, and that is, of course, if there are any, and any taxes that are due. If the assets are in the form of property or shares, well, you must probably need to sell this in order to pay off the debts and the taxes. And if you're looking to sell the property, you can get advice on valuing the property and the costs involved, as well as selling tips, on which that actually is a really good website, and there's a lot of good information there. Also read the quick house sale guides if you're thinking of using a quick house sale company instead. Please, you do need to check that out very, very carefully, because all of their terms and conditions, they all vary. So distributing the estate. Well, after you've paid the debts and the taxes, you then have to distribute the estate accordingly. The surviving husband, wife, or civil partner who is still legally married to the deceased can inherit the estate. The deceased children might also inherit part of the estate if it's worth more than a certain amount, and I will cover that for you. Close relatives, such as surviving parents, siblings of the estate, they could also inherit the estate in certain situations. Each country has a different rule for working out who gets what and how much. Again, go to the gov.uk website and they'll cover that. In England and Wales, if the estate is worth less than £270,000, the spouse, well, they inherit everything. If it's worth more and there are children, then the spouse gets the £270,000 worth of assets, all the deceased personal possessions, and half of the remainder of the estate. The other half is divided equally between the children. And if any child is under the age of 18, when the person died, he or she, their shares will be held in trust, and they will inherit it when they become 18 or when they marry, whichever comes first. So let us help you. Create My Legacy will help you take the pain and the heartbreak away from your loved ones by helping you plan your funeral ahead of time. As a funeral celebrant, I see the pain and the heartbreak on a daily basis, and it's so saddening. How can we help? Well, the first thing we've got 9 information packs. These are completely free. Get them. They supply you with so much information, and they break this taboo subject. Try us for free. We will write up your funeral service completely and totally free of charge. And that's just so you can see what we do. We'll then help you put your eulogy together. Our administration team are all professional funeral celebrants and advisors. They will hold your hand, they'll talk you through, they'll walk you through everything, and they'll help you to produce a beautiful eulogy. And then when we've got your eulogy and we've got your funeral instructions, we can then produce a wonderful bespoke funeral service. And if you want, you can have a celebration of life. This you have when you're still alive. It's a sort of a this is your life, and you get to meet all your friends and loved ones, and they can remind you of all the good times. We do a lot of this, when somebody's terminally ill. It's a wonderful occasion. It's a wonderful celebration. We bind everything up together. You get a hard copy. We notify your next of kin, your loved ones. We tell them what to do when the time comes. And the beauty of it is they don't go through the pain. The celebrant will turn up and say, I've got everything. Let's just sit down and see what we want to use. Have a look on our website, createmylegacy.co.uk. There is so much information. It explains everything that we do and how we go about it. So the information packs, there's 9 of them. They include information on dying and the law. We break the taboo subject, a list of everything that you need to know, and there really is so much. Understanding the administration that is involved, what you've got to do, when you've got to do it, how you've got to go about it, the importance of leaving funeral instructions, tax, and the family estate. This is what we've just been talking about, but there's far more information. Your digital footprint. If you go on the internet, it's out there. You don't realize how big it is and how much information there is on you. Online social legacy, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, online banking, email accounts. It's all out there. It's very important that you cover yourself. So what we do is in the description box below, I've put links. You can download your free information packs direct from there. Visit our website where you'll find all the information. Have your funeral instructions written for free. Just click on the link. Somebody will contact you. They'll sort it out and they'll talk you through everything and explain everything and answer all your questions. Book a free, no obligation call. Really important. This is an excellent starting point. Let us help you. Let us help you to support your family. You can find our Facebook page. You can find out what there is. So there you have it. The website, www.createmylegacy.co.uk. Download your packs. Oh yes, we produce these instructional videos all the time. If you want to be notified about them, click the subscribe button, click the bell, and that way you're not going to miss any of these at all. And you can actually forward them to friends and family so they know what's happening. So what do you do now? Download your free packs. You've got nothing to lose, and have your funeral instructions written up. Try us. It's completely free. Or call me Landline 01234 41 30 30, or the mobile 07730 11 11 11. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.